I'm curious what my resident Bat fans have to say. But this guy actually got Michael Keaton, and he did it like a ninja, bro. He snuck that question in. And he's like, "How did it feel getting back in the costume?" You know what I mean? And like, what was first of all, do you know what his answer was, and how did you think that question was lined up to make him answer it in the way he did? Spike.
I thought the guy did a fantastic job sliding that question in, man. Yeah, in the interview he states that he's a fan, so he goes in and he slides the question in, and yes, I do know the answer, but Keaton was not only surprised by it, but he seemed like he was a bit excited to hear that kind of question, to be able to answer it. Just the idea of him putting the suit back on is just gives you goosebumps for me. I mean, I grew up on that Batman. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Danny, I want your thoughts because this is the kind of question I feel like you would ask because you're so sneaky about getting what you want out of someone. So tell me, how would you? First of all, do you think that line of questioning was just brilliant or what?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, the line setup was so clever, and you can tell Keaton kind of caught. He was like, "Well, you know what? I probably wouldn't answer in the normal circumstances, but you got me on this one, so I'm going to answer it." I like when he said, what's the difference between how people react when they see you in public when you were back then being Batman and now how it is today when you have some of these other roles that you've done. And it's just like, I was like, bravo, you opened him up to just spill his guts on that there. And he just kept talking. I thought it was brilliant. Definitely something I would have definitely done myself if I had the chance to interview the great Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. He had really good questions. Tank, I know you said you had an opportunity to view the video. What were your thoughts? The interview. What were your thoughts on the interview? Anything stuck out other than that question? Because he did ask a couple of questions as far as, and I don't know if you remember, but specifically, I'm gonna kind of give you a little refresher. He did say, was it like muscle memory? And I thought that was a very interesting question too, because it's like, okay, you put the costume back on. How did it feel? What were your thoughts on how he answered that question?
Oh, I think he answered it. Answered it great. I mean, it's like just like you said. Like if there's anything that you like did a lot, when you were younger, whether it was a sport or video games or anything, even if or as they always say, riding a bike. Even if you haven't done it in years, when you get back into it, there may be a little adjustment period, but your body starts remembering, how to do it, and you end up doing it just as well. I also like the question that he asked when when you all these movies you've done, you've learned a lot of skills, and he asked, what was your favorite one, or what was your favorite one, or do you still remember how to do all of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was a great question as well. And I thought the way he, was forthcoming was pretty refreshing because, at first, the one thing, let me ask you this, Danny. And I don't know if you heard the whole interview, but he did ask one question that Keaton did not answer. Do you remember that question?
No, I don't. But shout out to Multiplicity because they got some love on that interview.
Get some love.
That's such an underrated good movie.
Yeah, it did. It did get some love, man. All right. It sounds like you need a little refresher, so I'm going to yield to the gentleman with the bat signal, our resident expert, our other resident Batman expert. Do you remember what the question was and how he answered it?
I'm drawing a blank. I'm excited. He asked him, I can't remember what it was. It was I can't remember exactly what it was. I know Keaton deliberately didn't answer. They started laughing about it. But
okay, what do you think? What is he? Okay, yeah. You know what? It takes a Superman fan to finally answer the question because the Batman fans can't answer it. Please.
Multiplicity. Shout out to Multiplicity.
Can you please educate these two gentlemen, please? Thank you.
He asked him if he has recently said, "I am Batman."
Exactly.
That's what it was. Exactly.
Oh
yes.
Yeah,
he said, "Did you say the iconic I'm Batman?" And dude, Keaton was like, "What? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What? Hello? Hello?" Yeah. So and I know that when he shows up on The Flash, he's gonna be like, "I'm Batman."
can't
He
put
can't-
him in the suit and not have him say that.
Thank you, Tank. I mean, it's like
Totally
it's,
iconic.
it's in his contract, for God's sakes, probably.
Yeah, total. Listen, total iconic. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Spike. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick. He caught me so off guard before that though when he said multiplicity. Shout out to Danny because I swear I thought he was going to say Beetlejuice. I love that movie, and so when he was talking about different roles, I thought he would bring that up, and
Right.
he brought up multiplicity, but probably because, like he said, it's he remembers the way he had to film it, his similarities with filming in the Flash movie. So I was like, okay, but yeah, I truly thought Beetlejuice was going to come up. Just
Hey,
to throw that out there because I love Beetlejuice.
All I'm saying is that it's pretty exciting that, for one, we got pretty much the confirmation everybody was looking for that he will be in the suit. I mean, why are you going to bring Michael Keaton in as Batman and not have him come in the suit? I heard those rumors that he was just going to be appearing as Bruce Wayne. I thought that was total bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, I called bullshit on the play because how are you going to bring arguably one of the best Batmans ever, right, to the fold and not have him suit up?
You can do that though, and I'll keep it short. But Tank and I have discussed this a lot because we love to see Batman Beyond made. Keaton has such a powerful presence that he could be an aged Batman without ever putting the cowl back on, and you'd still feel it. He's that momentous, man. Seriously,
No, I
put
agree.
him in the right role.
I agree with you with
So I
the
could see it.
acting capabilities. However, if we're talking fandom, and we're called the House of Fandom, wouldn't the fans out there want to see them in the costume? I know I would.
Absolutely, and that's what I'm saying though. We love him that much that I don't think you would feel that slighted.
I don't love
Of
him
course
that.
you want to
I don't,
see it.
I don't love him that much. I want to see him in the
Because
costume.
his
bro.
name's not Christopher.
No,
I get it, 'cause his
hey,
name's not
I just want to
Christopher.
listen. If Christopher Reeve, God rest his soul, like if he was, gonna ever make another Superman movie and not come into the play as Superman and not be in the cape, come on.
That's an excellent point. So they're remaking a lot of Superman right now. You got Henry Cavill. Say Hank's the Superman, the current Superman. Christopher Reeve's still alive. God rest his soul. They do a travel back in time with
Hey, Spike, it's Reeve, plural.
Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, don't mess up the name, bro.
Singular.
Yeah,
Is it
you're right.
singular?
We'll lose like 10
Is
minutes
it
of the show
singular
if we go
or
into that.
plural? I forgot.
I think I got muted. You're
Yeah.
right. Christopher Reeve.
Well, you listen. If I didn't say
Reeve.
anything, if I hadn't said anything, after the show, Danny'd be like, "Well, why the hell didn't you give him a hard time?"
Listen, I'm
No, it
from
would just
Detroit,
confirm
man.
what I know.
We
It's
added
okay.
S to everything, bro. Every store, Kroger's, Myers, whatever. Same
Right.
thing with Reeve. So anyway, Reeve is there. They do a travel back or whatever the case may be. And you see him. You mean to tell me you wouldn't be just as stoked to see Reeve, even if he wasn't in the suit? Like a retired Superman or an older Superman, even though he doesn't age, but just in that sense. He's that powerful to you that you would still dig it. Even though you would like to see him in the suit, you'd still dig it a lot.
No,
That's just how I feel about
Tank and I would not dig it. I know Tank. He wants to
I
see
don't
that.
believe that.
He wants to see that mofo in the damn Superman costume. Otherwise,
He cares more about Hank.
otherwise we could get any bullshit Kryptonian to come to Earth and act like you know what I'm saying. Like without the costume, it's the iconic nature of it. You know what I mean? Like it's just my opinion. I mean, respectfully, of course.
I get what you're saying, and we can have a talk about this for
All
hours.
right,
I'll
all
leave it
right.
alone right there.
Break it up,
Back to
boys.
you,
Break
Danny.
it up.
Because
I
that
mean,
was
listen,
so
he
great.
has a right to his opinion. I would love to
And
see
you
what his
do.
brother would like to say. I mean, I wonder if he's going to have his own thoughts on this one. What say you, Tank, on that? Costume or no costume? Batman or Superman?
I mean, I'll love it either way. I mean, like I said, Christopher Reeve, he was in Smallville. Not even.
Right. As a different
Not
character,
even,
yes.
Yeah, as a completely different character, and it was still.
Oh, yeah, I
great.
love that too. But
It was
that's a
great
different
scene.
character, and I thought that was brilliant
I know.
casting as well.
But my,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
but my point is that he just like Spike said, he still just has that that aura or presence from my memories of him being Superman, that I was even though he was a completely different character, just still seeing him was still great. So I think even if they, and also especially since like I love just like he said, I love Batman Beyond. If I just see him as an older Batman with the cane, like I did in in the
Right.
Batman Beyond costume, I would still love it.
Yeah. Well, if
But
I
yeah.
saw him in a cane and as an old man, I would think that he was Alfred. But that's just That's just me.
Oh, we having that kind of show.
And what's wrong with being Alfred? Alfred's
I think-
badass.
Right,
Thank you very much,
but
thank you.
I'm not saying. Hold on, I wasn't slighting Alfred. I was merely suggesting that the character then would become Alfred. But real quick before I head it back off to the room, appreciate the room's comments. John H says, I'd like to see him dressed up in as Batman again. So that was just one of the comments from one of the viewers. But anyway, back to you, Tank. What else we got in the fandom bag?
All right, next we are gonna hit y'all up with a trailer. We got the second trailer for Venom: Let There Be Carnage.
All I ever wanted in this world is carnage.
Lady, we should be out there snacking on bad guys. I am a predator. I need to be free.
You have got to get control of your aggression. You will get hauled off into Area 51. You live in my body. You live by my rules.
I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Please let me fix it so I can play it again. You are a loser.
Eddie Brock, I want to give you my story. People love serial killers.
Cletus, why me?
What's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. I have tasted blood before, and that is not it. All I ever wanted in this world is carnage. I'm not a crazy man. I am a vengeful one.
Oh, shit!
Whoa, where you going?
That is a red one.
You need to come out right now. I will let you eat everybody!
Promise.
I promise!
Oh, yeah.
Eddie, you feel like home to me. Like family.
Oh, wow.
You could just say I'm happy for you.
That was going to be us.
I am happy for you.
No.
God, I'm so sorry.
Not sorry.
This two needs some serious couples counseling.
All right, we're live. We are live.
All right, so you just played the trailer for Venom: Let There Be Carnage. Let us know what y'all think of it in the chat. I'm gonna start, on table. I for one, I love the trailer. I think it's going to be great, especially adding in Woody Harrelson as Carnage. We were talking about it while the trailer was playing. He's a great actor. He's probably going to bring a lot to this movie to improve on the shortcomings that the first one did have. I like the first one, but I agree, did have had his issues. So it's looking like this one's gonna definitely improve on that. Spike, what do you think about the trailer, and how are you excited for this one?
Man, absolutely. It looks amazing. I think Woody is absolutely an excellent choice. I'm a huge fan of his, but also the CGI looks great. Just them coming about, the transformations look amazing. A lot of the graphics, I'm excited to see how it's going to go. I think this will fare much better than that first one.
Yeah, I agree. And since you mentioned transitions, Danny, did you notice how Carnage's transition is different than Venom's?
Yeah, actually, I did. I mean, the first couple trailers, I really couldn't see much, but it looks like they're starting to do a little better editing in the trailer to give us a better view of what Carnage is going to look like in this movie. I've seen a couple sneak peeks of because you guys know obviously my collection situation. I've seen some sneak peeks of some statues coming up. The design looks really faithful to the actual Carnage there, so yeah. I am curious about that. I think it's ironic that we're talking about Venom 2 trailer when we're going to cover Suicide Squad 1 and 2. And seeing how they kind of have the same situation kind of going on. The first one, wasn't exactly beloved, and the second one's got a pick up where the last one left off and
Understatement.
improve it. Yeah, well, but I think it's kind of cool we got that today. But yeah, I mean, Carnage is one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. A la with Venom as well too. So, they're gonna pull out all the stops. I mean, when you think of Venom, you think of Carnage. So I'm hoping that this one looks good because Woody Harrelson's a pretty damn good actor.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really like the transition because like in the comic books, like how Venom, Eddie Brock and Venom are two separate people, but with Carnage they ended up being just completely one, and you can really tell that with the transition where like you can see Woody's turning into him instead of Venom, where Venom just overtakes Eddie.
Right.
So, Clark, I know you have your reservations on the first Venom. How do you think about this? And you think it's going to hold up? You think it's going to be better?
Well, here's the thing. It's because we're going to be talking about two comic book movies that are similar paths. I think too. Well, we'll see. But I can tell you that I actually did not hate Venom. I enjoyed it for the trash that it was. It was fun trash. It was okay. You know what it was? It was like we go.
I've never heard anyone
listen.
Trash is
we
fun.
we go to the
weird...
we go to this place like a sports bar. You get all these wings and everything, and you're drinking your alcoholic beverages if you do that, and you're having these wings, and these wings taste really good while you're eating them, but later on it doesn't taste so well. So that's how I felt like Venom was, in my opinion. This actually looks pretty good. Woody Harrelson's a great actor. So I mean, that part, it already elevates it. Tom Hardy, we know, is a great actor. He just had a shit show of a script in the first one. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. And also that CGI symbiote fight was horribly done. So hopefully they do this one better.
Yeah, a weak villain for the first one. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I think they learned from their mistakes in the first one. This one, so far, I have faith. It looks pretty
You would
good.
think. You would think.
Yeah.
That's what I said
We'll
so
see.
far. Let me throw that disclaimer.
Yeah.
It's a Sony.
Well, did get some bad news today that they got delayed about 3 weeks till October 15th. So hopefully it doesn't get delayed anymore, but we gotta wait a little bit longer than expected.
I'm hearing through our sources with Hollywood that the reason for it is the concern that it's too close to the Halloween movie, and it's also because of concerns that like there's not going to be enough. Like, let's put it this way: people don't want to necessarily go to the movies in crowds, and I think what they're concerned about is that oversaturation. If you have a lot of movies opening very close to each other, you're going to get that initial crowd. I think that's the concern that the studios are having right now. It's a very tricky situation with this Delta variant. So it'll, and I know we're going to talk more about box office later. But go ahead, Tank. Thank you for bringing that one up. That's a great trailer.
Yeah. All right. So next item in the Fandom news, and apologize to this actor and anyone who may have the same last name. I am going to butcher it. So news is Zolo Mariduena grabs role as Blue Beetle for HBO Max movie. I'm a fan. Blue Beetle's is a good character. He's not anywhere near the top at all, but all the medias I've seen him on, which has mainly been like the Young Justice show, and then also Young Justice show, and also he was in the Injustice 2 video game, and he was actually really good in that game to play as. But exciting DC to get more out there, kind of spread their wings a little bit more with not that well-known characters, trying to do like Marvel did with Iron Man and Thor and all them. So see how this goes for them. Danny, how do you feel about this? I know you know more about this actor than I do from the movie he was in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually really excited about this casting here. Blue Beetle is not exactly a hero that I really focus on, to be honest with you. I mean, kind of same thing like you said, Tank. I follow him from Young Justice and all those other shows he's been a part on. Personally, the name Blue Beetle, it doesn't sound cool enough for me to really care, and so smart putting him into other projects to get him a little bit more familiar with all the other people. But yeah, the actor himself, which I will not even attempt to say his name because I am sorry, I am not gonna waste anybody's time because I just don't know how to say his name. But I do know who the kid is. The kid, if anybody is familiar with The Gentleman, if they've seen any photos, he is the lead character in the, well, I'd say one of the lead characters in the new Cobra Kai Netflix spinoff. So think of him as the new Daniel-san in that one there. The kid is incredible. I mean, the show is amazing. He really does have a lot of range. And, I think for Blue Beetle being a young Latino, I think this is inspired casting. And I think this has the potential, if Warner Brothers does not mess it up, this has potential to be a really good movie. So I'm actually excited about it because of the kid.
Yeah, I think excited too. So Spike, what do you think? Are you is this Blue Beetle on your radar? Are you excited for it, or just kind of meh?
Well, not meh. I mean, comic book lore is always exciting to me, just to at least check it out. Blue Beetle was never somebody that I was, super stoked about. Reminds me of the Tick. So I just kind of like, was intrigued, to say the least. You know what I'm saying? I'd like absolutely check him out. I had never heard of the actor before. Danny speaks highly of him, as you guys can see. So I'd like to see what he could do. The kid looks good. And I mean, if they're putting, this behind him, this kind of money to be a lead in the movie, he's got to be able to hold his own well. So I definitely want to check it out, see where they go with it. And to your point, Tank, I'd like to see some of these characters that are lesser known characters kind of develop and mature, like you just mentioned before with Marvel. I think that's kind of cool to see something different kind of expand and grow a little bit for a newer audience. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it's almost a necessity, isn't it, though? I mean, Spike, you kind of hit in the head. I mean, the DCEU has been, to this point, let's call it what it is, a complete mixed bag of failures and successes here. Mm-hmm. And, I hate to give Marvel credit on stuff like, because I'm a DC guy first and foremost. But at the end of the day, you can't knock it. The strategy of like building up characters that are less known is super important if you're going to be building this expansive universe, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we have no idea what the hell Warner Brothers and DC have in store for their franchises there, but hopefully something like this, kind of like you said, a new character, someone who is not necessarily a mainstream hero, if you will. I think this is a good place to just start putting the bricks in place to start building this foundation up.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well. Clark, question for you is, do you think them, going this route with using, this pretty much not super unknown, but, very, not top tier DC hero, do you think that's a good idea or a good route for WB to go to?
I think it's a great idea. I think that, as Danny stated, the kid is great in Cobra Kai. I think it's inspired casting. I think they're going for an actor that is up and coming, and it's becoming even more popular and hot, especially from that show. Just to give you some numbers, Cobra Kai has, since it's gone to Netflix, it's made over 100 million people have watched the show. Let me just say that.
Wow.
Yeah, 100 million viewers. Excuse me.
Nice.
So that's a lot of eyeballs watching those actors. So while Danny is correct, it's not a mainstream character, and Spike, great point, reminds me a lot of the Tick as well. I think if you appeal to a younger audience, I think what you have there is a good way to build, what do they say, build world, world building, So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Well, Clark out here with the good points. Look at that.
Yeah, try. Every once in a while.
All right.
Play the lottery.
All right. Let's try not to change your job to a comedian. Anyway, go ahead, Tank. Go ahead.
Next item in the fandom news here. Actually, one of the stars of the main event we're going to talk about, Idris, and I was shocked by this because I did not see this happening. Idris Elba is actually going to voice Knuckles in Sonic 2.
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah, the first Sonic was surprisingly really good to me.
It wasn't bad, right?
It wasn't bad at all. Like, I saw it. I went to it expecting it to be okay, but then because most video games movies have not been good at all. It was actually, especially, really, really well done. I mean, I'm excited to see how they input Knuckles into this. I really interested to see how Idris Elba's voice sounds when coming out of him.
Got a very distinct, deep voice.
He does.
Yeah, that I would not. That I would. So, Spike, how do you think? Do you think he's going to come off well, or how do you think Idris is going to do with voicing Knuckles?
I think he'll do great, man. I mean, he's a seasoned actor. He's talented. The only thing I want to know is, Idris can flip back and forth between English and a British accent. So is Knuckles going to be British? Or is he,
English and British accent. I got you.
Well, American, however you want to put it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just funny. I'm like, okay, I'd like to see. I mean, this is a quirk, but yeah, I'd like to hear Knuckles be British. That'd be funny to me. I'd enjoy that quite a bit.
Why not?
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, why not? I'm down for that.
Any same question? Can you see Idris, like how do you playing Knuckles off or voicing Knuckles?
I don't see why not. I mean, Elba has a heck of a resume. If you guys look back at stuff there, I mean, the man is not afraid to try something new. You got to give him credit for that there. I mean, he's done so many good bit roles, and he's had a couple lead roles recently coming up here. I mean, my guess here is like, don't bet against Elba. I think he'll knock it out the park if you give him the chance. Yeah. And it's so weird that like I'm actually kind of excited to see a Sonic movie now because
right.
I mean, it's been so long, but everybody forgets that like this movie was supposed to be dead on arrival because no one liked the way Sonic looked in the first original trailer, and they had to delay the whole movie and re-edit everything to make Sonic look more like Sonic. So turned out to be a surprise hit. Let's see if lightning strikes twice here. I'm if Elba's on, I'm gonna watch it.
All right, awesome. So Clark, same question. Are you down? Are you down with Idris as Knuckles?
Listen, let me just cut to the bullshit. Let me cut through all the bullshit. There's one reason. There's one
family show.
There's one reason why Idris Elba is going to be in Sonic the Hedgehog movie 2, and it's $10 million is what he was paid for the voice of that. So that's the reason he's doing it, and I give him credit because you know what? If I got $10 million to do a voiceover, you better damn well believe I would be taking that $10 million, and it's one of the highest paydays he's ever had. Just so you guys know.
Clark, let me ask you real quick, and I'll be brief. $10 million flat, or does he get something on the back end? Because you immediately made me think of the Shrek cast. They made a killing off those movies,
he got $10 million and flat rate, but there is some participation incentives tied into the box office. I know he as well as Jim Carrey will have that type of arrangement. But I mean, it's inspired casting, that's for sure. And I love it. I think it's great. But I would be remiss not to tell you how much this guy's getting paid for the voiceover. That's $10 million, okay? So just to give you an idea, he got $7 million to play the villain in Hobbs and Shaw. So he got $10 million to be the voice of, so just throw that out there.
To sit down in a chair and talk into a microphone like we are doing for free, he's going to get $10 million for that.
Absolutely.
Let that sink in.
Absolutely.
I need a raise.
In the wrong field.
Absolutely.
Large checks have bounced on me, boys. I don't know if you've tried yours yet, but mine bounced.
Oh yeah, mine bounced too.
Oh yeah.
I
was going to bring it up after the show, but I saw my opportunity.
But really, really good stuff. Let me just say, we got a bunch of people in the chat room. Let me just say a shout out to my amazing pals over from the Ruckus Radio family. Amazing Confections, a.k.a. Brooksy, Batman 519. Appreciate you guys, paying a visit to the House of Fandom. If you guys have some time for a little nightcap, folks that are watching, I would head over when the House of Fandom is done to the Comic Book Trap House, and we've got our very own Victoria's Vega, who heads an all-star guys about that. All they do is talk about comic books, and they've been really good to us promoting House of Fandom. So if you guys haven't been to the Comic Book Trap House or haven't subscribed, we actually have them listed as one of our YouTube friends and partners. If you scroll on our main page, you'll see the Comic Book Trap House. Give them show some love and subscribe to their channel. And while we're all showing love here, let's subscribe and like to the House of Fandom, because you know what? We appreciate you guys, and we love to deliver this amazing content. Also, I would be remiss not to say that we have actually reached a milestone. The House of Fandom has met and exceeded 200 subscribers. We are currently at 215 subscribers, and I want to give a shout out to all the listeners who have joined the House of Fandom. We do this because we love just talking about movies, fandom, DC, Marvel, you name it, we love it. And, How could we forget Star Wars? And that is something that you definitely want to talk about, Star Wars. So I since I'm marketing the House of Fandom, we are on TikTok now. So what do they call the kids call it now? TikToky or TikTok? Yeah, TikTok. So the House of Fandom, it's House of Fandom 1 at House of Fandom 1 at TikTok on the TikTok, and I do these amazing voiceovers and of trailers.
Not to brag, but
yeah, not to bag. But
I put in the content myself.
We're gonna start putting a lot of some fun stuff in there, including a lot of collectible stuff, as well as even we're gonna get the guys from Townie Sports to put on some crazy stuff in there too. So if you have a chance and if you want to go down that rabbit hole, as Danny would say, of TikToky, come join us at the TikTok show. Anyway, back to you, Tank. I know you got a few more things in the fandom bag before we get to the main event.
No, just got one more thing, and this has been my favorite piece of fandom news that I've been waiting 2 weeks to talk about. We got actually some images from the Injustice animated movie that is coming out. There actually is like a behind-the-scenes video that these came from. It's on YouTube. It was a little bit long, so we're not going to play. We're not going to play that, but I would definitely, advise everyone to, YouTube that and to see so they can look at that. It's very entertaining. But yeah, so I don't know if you got the images loaded up now. So, okay, but yeah, so like I said, Injustice, it's based on the awesome video game Injustice: Gods Among Us, where it's alternate world where Superman, the Joker, he poisons Superman, and makes him see Lois as Doomsday, and so Superman ends up killing Lois, and then right when she dies is when it wears off, and he sees what he did. Superman goes crazy, kills Joker, which they show right in the pictures, and he pretty much completely changes and becomes, what everyone feared he would be with his power, and becomes, a tyrant, and has the sights on world domination. I am extremely excited for this movie. I cannot wait for it to come out. DC, outside of a few movies, they have not done me wrong with their animated movies. Danny, are you excited for this? I know you played the game Injustice.
Oh,
right?
Heck yeah, man. I mean, I've been dying to talk about this for 2 weeks too, man. You're not alone, brother. I mean, for real. I can't speak for the rest of the panel, but I know you and me, we got to get a game together, especially after this movie drops here, just to see who's better. Ooh, you know what? That'd be great. We can live stream it. Batman versus Superman live. There we go. I like it.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that.
This is gonna be dope, man. Because I mean, a lot of what Zack Snyder, the director for Justice League, he had a lot of inspiration from these movies. I mean, these video games here. So, if we never get another Justice League sequel and we never get to continue the story of that, this is a hell of an alternate for anybody. I strongly recommend anybody who has not, read some of the comics that they've made about this or even play the games, definitely check it out because the story is fascinating. I think it would surprise a lot of fans, even some non-fans. So, yeah, I'm just as excited as you, man. I think this is going to be a killer DC animated movie.
Yeah, you brought a good point. Like, the story in the game is amazing, but also the comics that they brought out that were like told the story before, the movies. Those were amazing as well. Spike, I know you played it as well, right? I don't know if you read the comics, but I know you played it. What do you think? Are you excited for this to come out?
Well, I've had a taste of the comics. Definitely played both of the games, 1 and 2, Injustice. You gave me a lot of history on how deep the comics are. I think it's very exciting. I'm stoked about the movie coming out. As you stated before, the animated movies are always really good coming from DC and Warner Brothers. So I'm excited to see this kind of transition for a lot of people. For me, DC has always been a darker comic than Marvel. And so we get that feel with Injustice. It really holds true to kind of what made me a fan of DC to begin with. It felt grittier. It felt more real. And Injustice definitely feels that way. And, it's just exciting also from a side note, being a huge Batman fan, to see that, Batman's been whooping up the Joker for years and never had this problem. And Superman, who's almighty, kind of got poisoned and, lost his stuff. So
Superman got catfished.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Essentially, that's basically what happened.
Mm-hmm.
The Man of Steel. I never seen this
Didn't see
happen to
that
Batman.
coming.
I mean,
Did
he
you,
didn't.
Soups?
Batman never went and choked out Batgirl or Barbara or Catwoman. I don't know. It happens. Those Kryptonians. But what you gonna do?
It's because Bruce ain't love his woman like Clark loved Lois.
We
That's
don't
why.
love those.
And also, I forgot Lois is also pregnant with his child too. So
Oh, that's
I
right.
forgot about
Listen,
that.
that aspect for real, especially the fact that they're going to put this animated, should bring anybody in to watch that, because this is literally just a really good movie that's in animation. That storyline in general, man, that whoever wrote that, seriously, that series, their pen is amazing, because it's really good all the way around with all the characters in the game. I know, Clark, you may not play the game, but if you look into it just in general, they did an amazing job. I'll pass it back to you, but yeah, I'm super excited about it, man.
All right.
Do we have a date?
No, no day yet. No, I mean, I'll have to look back again at the behind the video. So if you look on YouTube, it's like a behind the scenes. They show like actual like clips and everything from it. They also have like some of the actors that are playing it, which is funny. The guy who actually is voicing Superman is the guy who played Green Arrow in Smallville.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's funny.
Yeah, not the new, not the most recent Arrow.
I know
The
you're
actual,
talking
the
about-
old school.
I
I think they're Justin Hartley. All right, so I'm gonna go to you last but not least, as you always like to say about me, Clark. As resident, like I know you don't not too much of a gamer. How do you? I know you don't really like it when Superman goes dark. How do you feel? How do you feel about this?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't really get into the animation. Looks pretty interesting. As far, or excuse me, the graphics. Because it is a game, right? It is but it is
an
a
animated
game.
movie.
Right.
It's based off a game.
Right, based off a game. I'm sorry. So it started off as a game, but is it? Does it look similar to what the game looked like as far as the animation?
Animation. I mean, the costumes they look the costumes similar, but the animation, is since because the game was like all 3D and everything.
Yeah,
So
this 2D and 3D.
Yeah. I mean, listen. I think I'm interested in seeing different aspects of the mythology, or however you want, like storytelling and everything. Obviously I'm a traditionalist in that I want my Superman to fight for truth and justice, and so it gets a little jarring when he starts, putting his fist through somebody's, chest, kind of like what he did with Batman, and kind of like what he did, with the Joker in that illustration that you had earlier, which I will show to the team here, to the viewers, the team.
Batman did not take any hands. Hold on, take
Yeah.
that last part back.
So-
Joker,
so, yeah.
yes. Batman, nothing. Chill with that.
Well, no, he did that to Batman in Batman v Superman, is what I was trying to say.
I
Yeah, that's
remember Superman getting whooped up
Yep.
religiously.
Remember when Superman turned bad and he had the Vision?
He's about the Vision,
Right, the Nightmare Vision.
Oh, the
Oh,
nightmare
yeah,
thing?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
it was a
In
vision.
his dreams.
It actually wasn't a dream. It was a vision of what
It
the
was all
future
a
was going to
dream.
be. So just throwing that out there. But, I mean,
I
listen,
like
we
that
all
you-
know that Batman and Superman would never really, there's no competition, guys. I mean, let's
Yes,
just be
there is.
honest here.
Very big. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
That's it. We're not.
All right, listen,
we're not
dream
gonna
on,
do
Strebex.
this.
Dream on, Strebex. Dream on, Strebex. Dream on. That's all.
Here we
To
go.
quote
With
Tom
his
Hanks
ass
and
with a damn sink in the
Dragnet.
The only reason Batman has left Superman around is because he likes hanging with Red Superman. That's it. The Superman on Red Kryptonite. They hang the streets together. That's it.
All right.
We've
So
had many conversations. We'll talk about that later.
yeah, we got a whole shitload of things to talk about. So
The show, man.
yeah.
That's it. I'm ready to talk about Batman v Superman again. Let's go. Guys,
Tay,
we're gonna cover Suicide Squad next week. I apologize.
Tay, great topics today for the fandom news bag. Appreciate it. So hey, without further ado, we've got a lot to talk about. So let's start talking about the main event. Danny, what say you about the Suicide Squad?
I say let's get down to business, boys and girls.
All right.
All right. Before we get into the main event here, real quick, for the viewers watching live, we thank you so much for your participation. We appreciate your comments as well. Folks who are going to catch us later on as well, if you guys didn't go to the live chat tonight, come for next week's. Next Thursday, we're going to be doing the same exact thing. Definitely, the more the merrier. You're more than welcome to come. Anybody who's out there listening to this here, please like, share, and subscribe. All right, guys. So let's get into it here. The main event, why we all came here tonight, Suicide Squad. Excuse me, the Suicide Squad. I will be saying Suicide Squad 2, just not to confuse everybody as we talk about this here. But real quick, we can't talk about the second one, unfortunately, without talking about the first one. Right? So I think it's only fair to say, I mean, it has a well-documented problems with the first movie, and there's been a lot of talk over the years about it, and it's played an influence on what's been going on with the DCEU since pretty much 2016 or 2017, whenever it came out there. So what I want to do here first is I want to get the panel warmed up. It's been a little while since we've been all together here. Let's get into it. Starting this time off, I want to go right to my man Clark on this one. Clark, tell us what you liked, what you didn't like about the first movie and the second movie, sir. The floor is yours.
All right, gentlemen. So first, let me just set this up. I know we have a few folks in the chat room talking about if we saw it in the theater and how did we view the experience, because we all know it was actually released on HBO Max as well. You know, Danny and I had media screening tickets, so we actually saw it prior to being released, and so we had the full theater experience. So with that being said, went into it knowing, you know, after watching the Suicide Squad led by the cast of Will Smith, Margot Robbie, and, you know, a lot of the folks that were in the first one show up in the second one. Now, I will tell you that my expectations for this was pretty indifferent because I really didn't like the first one. I mean, to put it like mildly, right? The first one, for me, had a very weak story and a weak villain, and it also had what I call a very uneven tone throughout the entire movie. So that's my first take. The second take, Danny, the question on did I enjoy the second one? It's interesting because you and I saw it at the same time. I was very, again, indifferent. And let me just say, I'm not doing it just to be like that guy, okay? I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm not trying to be the guy. I saw that. I see you there, Tank. I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm gonna say
I'm gonna be that guy.
I'm gonna be that guy because
not a stretch for Clark.
Because okay. Here's the thing. It was very chaotic. Right, so it was just chaotic throughout the entire movie because they did a lot of time jumps and you know and so that in itself was a little confusing, but you can get past that. I again felt like I don't know if I was eating a steak or if I was eating a pork belly. Okay, so they're both good, right? But the problem is that I don't know if I wanted swine. Maybe I wanted steak. And so when I show up to watch this movie and it just turns into a Tarantino shit show, then yes, I have concerns. I have concerns because I believe Warner Brothers, in trying to cater to a certain audience, let director James Gunn of Guardians of the Galaxy fame run amok. Okay? That's my take for now, Danny.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for your comments and your opinions on that one, Clark. We greatly appreciate it. Okay, so going from the guy who doesn't want to be that guy, who is the guy, not just the guy, the man, Tank, my man, tell us, bro. Suicide Squad 1, Suicide Squad 2. What'd you like? What'd you didn't like?
All right. So first I'll say I saw it in the first time I saw it in the theaters. And then I watched it again. You know, every time, whenever we review something, I watch it one time just for enjoyment, then one time for talking points. So I watched it again last night on HBO Max, just refresh the old brain. Suicide Squad 1, it's weird. Like the first time I saw it, it's kind of one of the things where I enjoyed it the first time. Then I saw it again. Then I realized, okay, no, like I enjoyed the characters. The characters in Suicide Squad 1 are good. Mainly, Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Amanda Waller, even Captain Boomerang. The characters are what had me thinking I liked the movie. The plot is horrible. The villain was horrible. I still, I've watched that movie many times trying to understand what she was trying to do, what Enchantress was really trying to do, besides make those weird faced people. I have no idea what that weird lightning and smoke thing was supposed to be doing. And so the first one, so the first one, that's my thoughts on the first one. This one, I loved it. I love the chaoticness. I love how I don't know how far we want to go now, but same thing. Characters are still great. Margot Robbie, she played Harley probably the best she's played her to me. Between first Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, and I'm not saying a long ass name. And this is the best she played her. Viola Davis showed us why she is who she is. Like why she should be up there with the top. She showed that. And like I said, we talked about earlier, Idris Elba. He did great as Bloodsport. But they killed a lot of people died. Like I was not as like I was expecting a lot of people. Only one that was really shocking. I don't want to get too into it. Did not expect Captain Boomerang. I did not.
Yeah.
He was so integral into the first one. When he
I had
died
an idea.
in that first scene, I was like, oh, okay, this is like Game of Thrones right here.
Yep. Yeah, but I mean, I think they got that part right, guys. I mean, there's a Suicide Squad. I mean, you guys follow it or you've seen any of the comics there. I mean, the team is a lot of people supposed to die. So I think that was an improvement because a gripe that I had with the first movie was that no one major died.
Yeah,
you had two people do. You had two dudes.
Slingshot or whatever.
Yeah, it was like Slipknot.
Slipknot.
And I think the other guy's name was El Diablo with the tattoos, right?
Mhm.
Two dudes on that team died. No one knew who Slipknot was. No one knew who El Diablo. All the main characters, they all lived. I thought that was terrible. I thought you should, go big. If it's a Suicide Squad, go big, right? But sorry, Spike. I didn't want to leave you hanging over there, bro. I'm not gonna go into my thing until you got your piece, man. Suicide Squad 1, 2. What'd you like? What you didn't like, bro?
A lot of similarities of what Tank and Clark are talking about. As a huge Will Smith fan, I was really excited to see the first one. I went to the movies to see it. Initially, I was okay with it as far as Tank made a great point. I realized when he was talking to it, that's what I did enjoy about it was the characters. I never liked Enchantress. I thought it was horrible from the bat. I'm like, why would they do this? They got a bag lady making a bomb out of garbage or some kind of weapon. It was just stupid, and it was poorly written, which I didn't realize until we talked about redoing this. I think I only watched that movie the one time until we decided to watch it again.
That's that bad, is right?
And yeah, and
you don't want to go back to
me
it
because I've seen all of Will Smith's movies a ton of times.
Sure.
And although this is not just Will Smith, it really struck me like, yeah, this movie really is as bad as people say. When you watch it again later, you see all the holes. So good points. Like I said, I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed more than anybody Viola Davis, believe it or not, in the first one. I didn't expect her character at all to be that powerful for me. Yeah. But she was great. She carried the movie. And Harley was, Margot Robbie did an amazing job as Harley. So she was great in the movie. She was very entertaining. And to Tank's point, we've had this conversation off air. Jared Leto, after I watched it again, wasn't as bad. I think it was just a lot of hype with his character.
Clark,
and it wasn't fair.
Mute this man. Hell no.
He wasn't as bad.
No. I'm not going to let that one slide. No.
Telling you.
Batman versus Batman fan. Now, here we're going to go with this one here.
Yep.
Jared Leto is a shit stain of a Joker. Okay? He is trash upon trash. I rewatched that movie too, and I recommend going back to his scenes. Just his scenes, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you to not look at the screen and just hear the voice. My man straight up did a bootleg copy of Jim Carrey's The Mask. That's who he was. He played no, you're the Joker, bro. No.
I got you.
Listen,
I got you.
I'm gonna tell you right now, like this is the one thing that infuriates the hell out of me more than anything else. Anything else, I can give a pass to a terrible plot. I can give a pass to, the Enchantress thing. The worst thing about that movie, for me personally, was Jared Leto as the Joker. It was the dumbest, unnecessary. He was so bad, they recasted Joaquin Phoenix, and when he got the role, he got an Oscar for it. Okay?
First of all,
It's a different
stop.
Joker.
First of all,
That's a
No.
different Joker.
listen,
It's
no,
a
no, no,
better
no, no.
actor playing
That's
the Joker.
It's a
acting
different,
the Joker.
still a
Joaquin,
different
you
Joker.
can't even measure Jared Leto is not a great actor for one. Okay, I
Well,
give him a
Jared
pass for-
Leto, or whatever you want to call him, is an Academy Award-winning actor. Actually, you're right, Spike.
Yeah, just
He's
because you
fine.
won doesn't mean you're good. There's other people who
Exactly.
could have
He's-
got it as well too. That doesn't mean anything these
He's a
days.
decent actor in Hollywood. He's not a great actor. And
also- One second. I'm gonna let you finish your spot in a second. I'm not trying to do a Kanye West on you, Clark. Real quick though, I know how you quickly went to the Academy Award thing here. One thing you should also remember as well too, Suicide Squad 1 actually is an Academy Award winner as well too. Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah, and we're shitting on it right now. Okay, back to you, Spike, please.
Yeah, but it wasn't an
Absolutely.
Academy Award winner for major awards. It was bootleg.
Hey, listen, an Academy is an Academy Award. Okay, either way, if you win it, you're gonna. Top it.
So
But I'm
you're
just
saying that
this.
the Academy Award for
that's the same
best
value.
custodian.
Let me be clear. Okay, let me be clear. I've seen other movies with Jared Leto, and I've never looked at other movies and go, he shouldn't be here. Okay, he's a good actor. I don't dislike the guy, but I give him a pass for several reasons. The Joker had very few spots in Suicide Squad 1.
They cut it out because he was bad. The director went on
I
record
was
said
gonna say,
himself.
Okay, I was going to say the lines weren't great,
Mhm.
and for him to be able to do it, I feel like under him to give him a bit of a pass, it was a lot of pressure. Nobody had seen Joker since Heath Ledger, and that's a lot to come behind to try to create and do on your own. So I give him a pass. Like for what he can do, he wasn't that bad. That's all I'm saying. Would I choose him to be Joker anywhere else? Absolutely not. Not even on the CW. But he wasn't that bad, considering all the factors that he had to face taking that role.
I
So I
wish
give-
we had sound bites and clips from this movie so we can debate this all night long, but that's okay. I'm gonna let
There's
you
a
have your
time.
opinion. I'm going
Let
to
me
agree to
let me
disagree.
tell you real
there.
too, right quick.
Now,
'cause
now I'm gonna have to
spun
Kanye you,
off.
man, because now we gotta move on, bro. I'm sorry. Gave you
Talk
too
about
much.
two.
You gotta talk about
Don't
the
even
second
go
part.
there.
No, that's it. That's all we gotta hear from Take.
Get
I'm
outta
sorry,
here,
Spike.
man.
I'm sorry, guys. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go
Fine.
ahead, King Shark.
No, let's go.
Real quick, part 2. I enjoyed Elba the most. He just kicked it. No, I take that back. I was excited to see Elba. I enjoyed Peacemaker the most. Period. John Cena was John Cena. He was hilarious. He was amazing.
He kills it at comedies, like I said. He
Kills
kills
it. Kills it. The dude was just stupid stuff. Was so funny. I was texting Tank the whole time I was watching the movie because I was like, this dude is hilarious to me.
I didn't care
But-
about Peacemaker show until I saw this movie.
Exactly. The same difference. But I will say this, really quickly, you can definitely see the difference in direction, which you should, but I do feel like Gunn got a little wild with a few things. I wasn't disappointed in it, to say the least. It was kind of all over the place in the sense of the time lapses part. It was annoying to me because I was into the movie and then it would stop and go, hey, 3 days ago or whatever. No, I don't care about that. Just put it together. So that part was a little bit bad, but I'll say I did enjoy the movie though. I did. Overall, I really did like the movie a lot. So
No, that's good. That's
Thank
good.
you.
I mean, yeah, for me, in my opinion, on Suicide Squad, I think the audience and everybody in the panel pretty much figured out how I feel about that movie. I was triggered, and I'm sorry. That's not like me, and I apologize publicly for this. Jared Leto still fucking sucks. Anyway, moving on to what we are here for. I'm sorry. It's after hours. It's House of Fandom after hours. But listen, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, because Clark and myself, as he mentioned, we got a chance to see a screening. It was an absolute blast to take a full advantage of seeing this in advance of the release that was coming in later on that week. I gotta be honest with you guys. For me, that was my first movie back to the movie theaters since all of this stuff has been going on here, and I don't think I was in shape for it. I don't think I was ready for it, and I feel like I kind of took it out on the movie. Because my initial reaction was like, this movie wasn't that great. I mean, it was better, but it wasn't that great. But keep in mind, listen, this is the first time I had a full cup of expired popcorn with extra butter on it there, a bigger gulp of drink than probably some man should probably drink in one sitting. And for 45 minutes towards the end, man, I was just ready to go so I can go. But so yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't love it. I liked it when I first saw it, but I did go back in the comfort of my home where there's a bathroom within 2 feet of wherever I need to be and take care of business. And I gotta say, my opinion changed drastically. I did like the movie a lot more. Heck, I can almost say I love the movie as well too. I mean, the time lapse thing does annoy me too. I agree with everybody on that. There, it seemed a bit too much of that there. But I mean, if you want to go and watch the movie for certain sequences alone, there's a lot of great stuff in that movie. A lot of fun. I mean, one of my favorite scenes was probably in the beginning-ish, when the second team got to the island and they were trying to rescue Rick Flag from the other team, and it was kind of like this weird standoff between Peacemaker and Bloodsport. I mean, that was pretty good.
That scene, bro.
That scene was pretty good, and then the ending was like hilarious. It's like I owe these people my life. It was like, oh, we didn't see anybody.
I thought that was great. That scene was the funniest in the whole movie that you mentioned.
It was fantastic. You can't give it. Yeah.
You reminded me of this though, and all of you guys can answer this. Name one person that should not have been in this movie. That was just drove me nuts. Or one character.
I'm gonna go with Weasel. I didn't like Weasel that much.
Thank you.
He was pointless.
That thing was gross and unnecessary.
Yeah.
That was for his brother to have a paycheck. That's what it was for.
He was in it twice though. He was already in it. He was
right. He was in the prison. I don't know, but I thought that was unnecessary too. I would have thought it would have been cool if they would have done some interesting things, but it didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, so there was no payoff, and here's the thing, because clearly you guys are sipping. I mean, heavy sipping of the Kool-Aid when it comes to this movie. Let me just say, okay, there's one of the problems. He just put shit in there. Just the director just put James Gunn. He just put shit in there just to put shit in there. And what happens is that the stakes don't become really. It doesn't feel real, bro, because people are just dying left and right. And I just want to know one thing here. Help me out here. When did shit. When did Margot Robbie's character, which is
Harley Quinn.
Why? When did she develop superpowers? Because,
what you mean?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about jumping from buildings and doing flips in the air and all these other crazy stuff.
She's like an Olympic level gymnast.
That's an Olympic level script bullshit, if you ask me.
And the building was collapsing. She was running up the building. So, I mean, a super athletic person.
All right,
If Tyrese can do that in Transformers, then Harley Quinn could absolutely do this. Come on.
Okay. So, but my point is that you got to suspend some serious disbelief. She's basically got the movie powers, is what they gave her. They gave her the magical movie powers because some of the things that she was doing was just completely insane. She got to have superpowers.
Think about this though, real quick. Harley's one of those characters.
The caping is strong in this room. Go ahead.
She doesn't have any defined powers. She's one of those characters that you could actually make broader, which it seems like that's all they did. She's not really in a box. The only thing you really know is that she's nuts. She's a doctor, but she's nuts. But she could develop fighting skills and abilities. I mean, she's broad that way.
I understand.
I don't think they overdid it.
Okay, jumping from roofs, jumping into the eye of the giant starfish, inside the giant starfish's liquid and all that stuff. Yeah, no problem there.
Come on,
man. From the comics, she is an Olympic level gymnast. What's her name?
Still human, though. She's still human.
Imagine someone like Simone Biles.
Just taller. That's a good point. Yep.
Just taller.
There you go.
That's what Harley Quinn is.
And who else is going to take out Patrick? He was over there wreaking havoc over there. You know what I'm saying? She had to go in there and knock him down.
Hey, SpongeBob.
Why do you sound like him? You should not sound
That was actually the best one you've ever done there, Clark. So
no, Scarface
more power to you there. So let's break. I'm sorry. So let's break this down real quick here, guys. I mean, it seems like there's some mix there. I mean, The majority say yes, and some will say no, and that's understandable. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter how you like the movie. Clark, if you can, please tell me, was there any scene specifically in the second one that you did like when you were watching it?
Well, let me just say a few things. One, I thought that the character, the actors and actresses in the movie, specifically Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, Idris Elba as Bloodsport, also the character Polka Dot Man. I thought that actor was really good, and I love seeing the Spanish actress who played the guerrilla warfare leader. She was she's in an amazing TV show called Queen of the South, which finished its run. But I can't remember her name. But I first found her when she starred in I Am Legend with Will Smith. Yeah. Great performance there. But I thought she was great too. The problem I had with James Gunn is that he was let to be. He basically they did what they did to David Ayer is the complete opposite of what they did with James Gunn. They didn't reel James Gunn in at all. They completely reeled in David Ayer's direction, and so to the point where he disavowed the movie. And so whatever you want to call it, money, whatever. My point being, and I know we're going to discuss this, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself, is that when you go and you go hard like that and let a director have a vision that is not necessarily conducive to being commercial, you're going to get your ass bit financially, which I know we'll talk about in a minute. So that's what I had concerned. Now, I gave you some really good points that I liked. I did enjoy the Latina actress who played the Rat number 2, I think it was.
Ratcatcher 2.
Right. I thought she was really good as well. She brought a lot of heart to the story. I thought that was great. But just so you know, James Gunn wanted to kill her off. They actually filmed that scene. So that tells you how screwed up he was. Like, he wanted everybody to be dead. But the test audiences...
Well, she didn't, though. Come on.
Well, the test audiences vetoed him. They were like, look, man, you killed pretty much everybody. Can you at least let this girl, the heart of the movie, survive?
Actually, no. That's not what my sources told me. Well, actually, James Gunn was interviewing. He said, the intention was to kill Ratcatcher 2. I did hear the same thing as well, too. Right. But he said that, she was such a sweetheart on the set there that the more and more that she was on set, the more he just decided it wouldn't make sense to write her off. So.
Well, they filmed it from what my sources said.
Yeah, they did. They did.
What I'm saying, though, too, is you know how they test these things, Danny. I think the biggest thing on that is that when you look at, like, a character like that, like, I would have wanted her to, like, logically live. But James Gunn went for a nihilistic approach to this movie. And I know that you and I have had discussions about that kind of approach before, Danny, as it pertained to another movie, which escapes me right now. Oh, actually, it doesn't. Las Vegas Zombies.
Yeah.
Remember, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Right, we talked about how, people dying and the main characters, and we talked about that he had the courage to do that. I think that was a mistake here. We'll talk about that when we talk about the box office and the financial piece of it. But the other thing I will say that I actually enjoyed was I did like King Shark. I guess just
there you go.
Oh, and I like seeing Sylvester Stallone
Big
pretty much
mustache.
Play himself as a shark was just pretty. It was comic gold in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's fine. The first movie, I think, unfortunately, was doomed because of Batman v Superman. I think that was a big problem with their timing there. As much as we do have a special place in our hearts for that movie, it wasn't critically loved, of course, and box office successful, what have you. But, Suicide Squad was very deep in production, and they did not like the direction that David Ayer was going with that movie. And ironically, the reason why we got what we have is because a trailer company was hired to make it more brighter, more fun style of movie. And the reception was so great to that trailer that they gave them the rights to edit the movie itself. I don't think I've ever heard it before of a trailer company coming in to edit an entire movie on their own there. It's a little weird. But You mentioned test audiences there. Fun story about this original Suicide Squad. They tested both David Ayer's version and the trailer company's version of the movie, and screeners didn't like either one. So WB actually got involved and cropped the whole thing together, and hala, that's what we got in Suicide Squad 1. So we got a mixed match of everybody's hands in there. Too many cooks in the kitchen, as you will. All right. But I think with this one here, and I think with whether you 100% love Suicide Squad 2 or not, I got to give credit where credit's due. Warner Brothers, gave the man a chance to do his thing, and he has a track record of success with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So, what did they have to lose at this point, right? So, we'll talk about box office and things of that nature there, but I think overall, and again, I was even a little hard on it when I saw it first. On the second viewing, I loved the movie a lot more. I really, really did. My only beef was the time lapsing thing. I mean, I like Pokemon. Polka Dot Man. Excuse me. King Shark was great. They never called him King Shark. I don't know why they didn't do that.
Naue.
Nobody says his actual name, just the Naue the whole time.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, but I think, hey, for returning characters, I mean, shout out to Rick Flag. Rick Flag was way better in this movie than he was in the first one. Peacemaker was a great addition. Bloodsport was a great addition as well too. Harley Quinn was just like, Margot Robbie, I think she's just good at she's Harley Quinn, so like she's in it, it's gonna be good. So nothing negative or positive about it. It's just that's Harley Quinn in there. Good job. It just reminded me of a second scene that I thought was absolutely hilarious. It's towards the end when they're fighting the big giant star guy, Starro. Right? Yeah, Starro. And their driver gets shot.
Milton.
What
the fuck is Milton?
Right. Listen, they even killed Milton. And all he wanted to do was just get them where they were at.
I thought that was great. She was like, no.
That was good.
Oh, man. Polka Dot Man. I keep calling him Pokemon. Sorry. Got the braces in. But Polka Dot Man, I think it was like a low-key like MVP of this movie. He was really, I think he was really funny.
I did not think Polka Dot Man was. I mean, it's all just the actor who I knew. I don't know. I can't remember his name. I think his first name is David. But he's, I know he's a great actor. But he killed that role. He made me like and care about Polka Dot Man, who I never would have thought I would have liked and cared about.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a genius of this movie here. I mean, James Gunn, he whacked off a lot of people, but at the same time, outside of Captain Boomerang, which was kind of a bummer, I agree with taking that one. That was unfortunate. But I mean, aside from that, he didn't kill off any big name people. And I think that was a smart move because you can't touch Harley Quinn. To an extent, you can't touch, like a Deadshot if he ever decides he wants to return. You got Elba out there. I mean, big names. The last movie only had 2 people that were died, and no one knew who the hell they were, and no one cared when they died. So I think the nice way to mask that is kill off a whole bunch of non-known, well-known characters and comic book, villains and stuff like that, and drag up the body count. The only thing I didn't like about the movie is I think it was unnecessary R-rated movie. I think it was just it could have been a PG-13 movie and still been just as good. I mean, the blood, guts, I mean, that's all good and well, but I don't know. I just felt like
I loved it.
I know you do because you're a sick man. Yeah, I know this. It doesn't count. But yeah, I mean, I think it could have been PG-13 and still been just as good. That's my only piece on that there. Well, you guys want to add anything that you guys like a movie? Spike? Thank you, Clark. I heard you.
Yeah, I just want to say, I will say this. You made me think of something. I was disappointed when the guy that plays Yondu or whatever, Guardians, when he died, or his whole little character in the beginning. I was excited to see what they would do with him. That dude's a great actor.
I felt that
in The Walking Dead.
I felt his reaction though.
Yeah, absolutely. But they could have made Pete Davidson do that, or something else. Like, I just wanted to see where his character was going. He had this crazy hair, the look. He's ready. They come and make sure they show you them get him, and then he just loses it. It's trying to swim away in the ocean. Where you going? No boat.
I think we all would have done that, quite frankly, there. I mean, we all like to consider ourselves tough, but like, they got damn mortars thrown at you and people getting killed left and right. It's like, it's time to go, man.
Well, you guys bring up a good point. Even in the chat room, Cliff Bravo says, I mean, why did they do Captain Boomerang like that? Why, you know what I mean? Like, these are characters that people wanted to see in the movie. And I think the problem with the marketing is that you really were kind of hyping these characters to have maybe like a redemption, story in the second movie, and kind of sucked that, like Captain Boomerang was a pretty cool character in the first one. I liked having him in there. You know what I mean? And just to have him go out like that was kind of, I don't know. Just didn't feel it.
But I think the point of that was like to let the audience know, hey, all bets are off. Anybody could potentially go out.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that. That is a disservice to your audience when you just do it just to do it. Like for me, it's like, you know what? Let me just say one thing. Hear me out, guys. Okay, before you start with the pitchforks, I already see you guys. Jeez, right, let me just get in a word in edgewise here. Let me just finish my point.
No.
My point is, my point is that what they did with what's his name, Captain
Boomerang.
Boomerang.
You just said his name.
He had a great death. He had an amazing death. I thought they did. I didn't like that he died, but I thought it served the story, and I thought it was very well done. Captain Boomerang deserved better. That's all I'm going to say.
Think about it from this.
1 second.
Go ahead, Denny.
Clark, just to remind you, these are bad people. They're not superheroes.
Well, Captain Boomerang was not a bad person. He actually was leading the bad guys. He wasn't
doing the leader of the bad guys.
Well, right, but what my point is that he was the good. But he wasn't doing it. He was doing it on his own accord. He wasn't being forced to. He did that mission on his own accord.
Is a major villain foe of the Flash. He's 100% a villain, just so you know. So I'm not saying, hey, it's not disappointing that he died and stuff like that. Just keep in mind, the group of people that we're watching this movie are not exactly, Batman and Superman team up. These are the people that Batman and Superman fight. So it's one of those things where, like, listen, if he dies, he dies. That's the whole point, because he's a criminal. And, it's just, hey, that's why he's got a bomb in it. He didn't volunteer to do the job, right? So, at the end of the day, he knew the risk and all that stuff. And, it's disappointing that he died and stuff, because he is a fan favorite. But at the end of the day, that's what makes Suicide Squad an intriguing watch, because you don't know who could be next.
No,
with the exception.
It's a good point.
I mean, it is a good point. Hey, real quick, we got Juice, a new subscriber, calling in or viewing all the way from Vegas. So just want to give a shout out to Juice 313 Gaming.
Thank you, Juice, for subscribing. We appreciate it, buddy. All right, guys. So we kind of had our piece here. Does anybody have any final thoughts on both Suicide Squad 1 and 2 as far as how they feel about it? So I'd say overall, I think we think this is an improvement over the last one there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, gentlemen. Well, time to shine there, Clarky boy.
Well, I mean, listen, I don't want to be overshadowed with my opinion, because you three are obviously, completely sipping in that James Gunn Kool-Aid.
15 seconds ago,
You're sipping in
Listen,
Kool-Aid.
you're biased, but let me.
I am just saying.
Well,
Sipping in
I'm
the
gonna call a time on you boys here, because we're about to get into the segment of where you can actually answer this right now. You can answer it right now, because, gentlemen, if you read the damn document, we're gonna go into our fandom review of Suicide Squad 2. So, gentlemen, you are free to say what you got to say next, in what particular, or whoever wants to go first. Just do me a favor, please do it 1 out of 5 stars after you're done with whatever you're gonna say next.
I'll go first, no problem at all. Let me start off by saying I give this a quarter of a star. How you like them apples?
Serious?
All right, I'm gonna be
You said
that
a
petty.
Quarter of a star.
A
Eddie
quarter of. You said I could do quarters before,
I quit.
Danny. You let
No,
Tank
you're right.
do it.
You can absolutely do quarters.
I'm giving it a quarter of a star, so it doesn't even get 1 star. And let me tell you why. All it was a series of action set pieces and deaths. That's it. I did not feel for the characters. I did not have any attachment, nor did I feel like this was leading to a greater world building or something more sinister. It was, to me, like a ripoff of a Tarantino movie via the DC universe. I think that James Gunn was let me finish. You said I could say whatever I want. So he was running. Running amok. And listen, Warner Brothers, okay, is got their ass chewed. You know why? Guess what club that the Suicide Squad 2 joins? The new 100 million losers club. Lahu Hazur. And that
thank you for
is
spoiling the
via
next segment,
Forbes
Dick.
magazine. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Guy, I swear to God.
I have no
Can
regrets.
I have one question for you, Clark? And it's an honest question. I'm not even gonna poke fun or anything. You're like I said, you're entitled to your opinion on that. That's fine. If the Suicide Squad is half a star, you said, did I hear you correctly? Just one,
a
only
quarter of a
half?
star.
It's gone down since I talk. I better
Well,
stop
no,
while
I
I'm
said
ahead.
quarter of a. You said I could do a quarter, so I did a quarter.
Yeah, you can do anything. So it's a quarter of a star. So what would you grade? I mean, this is just for Clark, guys. But what would you grade Suicide Squad 1 then?
Honestly, I would give it a 3, and the reason for that is a combination of what Spike said, Will Smith, a combination of what Tank said, the way the characters you felt for the characters and the way they were like written. I thought that was a big thing, sorely missed in the second one. That destroyed it for me. It just felt like a series of. I could watch that movie any place in the part of the movie and I would have just been like, oh, I don't even understand. Like, even if I watched it from the beginning or watched it at like a quarter to the end of the movie, I would still be just as confused or just as whatever. You know what I mean? It was just merely what it was.
Yeah.
If you're asking me if it's a great action movie or just like, you know, a series of great action pieces, I think that production wise, it was well done. Everything else wise, it was trash.
Okay. Well, thank you, Clark. We appreciate your opinion.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I have no regrets.
None needed, my man. None needed. Good for you. Way to stand your ground. Gentlemen, or should I call the bullies of the evening, apparently. So, let's start with bully number 1 here, and then we'll get to the bigger bully at the bottom. Spike, were you born a bully? Did you just become a bully on this show today? I mean, you're... And then when you're done answering that, please answer.
Pay attention. This is the villain. This is the villain. It was created in this episode. Okay, this is the origin story of the comic villain.
You either die a hero
Oh my God, you read my mind.
or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
You read my mind, man. Well played. Well played. 1 point to Mr. Spike on that one there. But sir, please, your review of Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, excuse me.
Gotcha. First, I want to say this, and I know Clark probably picked up on this. You too. Did you realize that this town is the same place that Vicky Vale got famous for?
Yeah.
Remember she took the pictures in the Cordo Maltese?
Mhm.
As soon as I saw it, I immediately remembered what that was. I meant to bring that up earlier. But out of 5 stars, I would give it 3.5, 3.75 stars. I mean, I don't want to sound like Star Search, but just 3.5 stars. I'll say 3.5. It was entertaining for me. I wasn't mad at it. I didn't think it was that bad of a movie, you know.
Yep.
And Clark, I can say this, man. I appreciate the fact that you're standing your ground with your own opinion. Like we're not all the same, and that's great. I love that part. So, but yeah, 3.5.
What about the first one?
I knew you were gonna ask. Oh, I should have just kept on going to Tank, man. Okay. Spike, you might as well, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you talk about the first one, I would give it. Well, if that's the case, then I would have to. We'll say 3 stars. And the reason being, is I don't think. Yeah, more or less. I mean, the first one to me, like I said, would have been a lot better. I just hated the villain. You know what I'm saying? And this one, part 2, could actually eke out a 4 on me if I really wanted to, because the only thing I really didn't like about this, to be honest with you, was the time lapse, the thing back and forth. That, I mean, the unnecessary death and all of that was just something to do for me. That was fine, you know, so that didn't bother me as much. But the time lapse was a big thing for me. It was really annoying. If it was one time, it would have been fine. But the fact that they did it multiple times throughout the movie just really bothered me. So yeah. I would say the first one would give me a 3, and the second one I'll do a 3.5 to 3.75. So that's me.
Right.
Doc, give me a 3.5.
Right on, bully number 1. All right, on to big bully 2. I ain't gonna call you by name because apparently you're a bully now. We don't like bullies in the House of Fandom, but bullies allow their opinions, sir, if you will.
This bullying has been born over weeks of ball busting, as someone likes to call it.
Also born on the show.
Touche.
I love this. I love this Suicide Squad 2. all the characters. Everything. The characters. Good. Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn, Amanda Waller. Like I said, she before I did this killed it. I even like like the beginning where like they actually showed all the people who work for Waller, like betting on who's going to die.
Gosh,
Like
so funny.
That was an underrated screen. Kinch, like I said, Savant like running away. That would be me. Like he sees all this, like because he didn't even want to do it at first. You remember he didn't want to be there, and then he goes there. He just sees like everyone just getting demolished, and he's like, "F this, I'm gone." Bloodsport suit. I need Bloodsport suit. Like, where did all those guns come from in that suit? Like, they just kept popping up out of nowhere.
I had to look him up. I didn't realize he's a Superman villain.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which interesting because they said that he was in there for shooting him with kryptonite bullet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably overthinking it, but I wonder if this, because it's not really. They said it's not a sequel, but the way
it pretty much is though. Let's be honest.
Kind of felt like it because Harley already knew Flag, and she had already, Then also Boomer was all like, "How did you get arrested?" And she said, I can't remember what she said. She like punched somebody that robbed someone, which would make sense because the last time we saw her in Birds of Prey, she was free and was running, so that would make sense. But at what point would a Bloodsport been able to shoot Superman? Is my only thing. I had a thought that maybe this was like some kind of multiverse thing, but I'm probably just overthinking.
Yeah, no, you're definitely overthinking. It was just a bunch of bullshit that James Gunn created.
Let the man speak.
Oh no, I was merely just giving input on it. That's all. I wasn't hating on him. He was wondering what the hell was going on with that scene. And like I said, James Gunn,
don't turn it around.
James Gunn just put bullshit in there just to put bullshit in there. That's all.
Right?
Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can we mute him?
No, unfortunately, he is actually the executive producer of the show, so absolutely not.
But no, I apologize. Go ahead.
King, like I said, Sly Stallone killed it as King Shark. I mean, I knew he would. King Shark was great. I love King Shark from other shows. But like I said, Peacemaker, he was, like I said, I knew John Cena kills it in comedy roles. I knew it. And I
agree with you with that point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He was really a highlight of the movie. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, like I had no plans or cared about the Peacemaker show that's coming out. But I'm excited for that movie.
His comedic timing is on point. I'll give him that. That's for sure.
Yeah. And then he even played when he got serious at the end when he turned because he didn't want them to release the footage of
astronauts.
Yeah, the footage. The astronauts. Even when he turned serious, which normally I don't like him in serious roles, he turned serious and he was still good. So he just he found himself in this.
It was like that dark comedy / maniacal.
Yeah.
The way he did that, I think was very good. Yeah. Very good point. And also too, what was her name? The amazing Academy Award winning actress who was in How to Get Away with Murder and
Viola Davis.
Viola Davis did an amazing job. She was so absolutely ruthless in her execution of the mission. I just thought it was amazing, and I thought it was great. I was worried they were going to kill her off, but James Gunn actually did that by laying a big turd at the box office. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah. But before I get cut off again, I'm just going to go ahead and give my score. Like I said, I loved it. We got great characters and a good plot, and we knew who the villain was. What the actual villain actually had a purpose, and we knew what he wanted. I'm gonna give it 4.5.
Right on. And real quick, just indulge us here, the first movie, if you will, real fast.
I give that a 3 just for the characters, because this for the characters is 3.
Right on. All right. Well, I'm gonna make it real quick on my side here, just to make up some time here. So, first movie. 1.5. Second movie, I'm gonna go with a 4. Now I've already said my piece. If you guys don't know why, go ahead and replay the video over here. I've made my feelings very, very publicly known. Fuck you, Jared Leto. But now listen, I was so ready to bash the second one because coming out the movie theaters, and again, guys, if you're not liking the movie in the movie theaters, I recommend maybe giving it a second go on HBO Max now it's available. Because I know for me personally, it did help me figure out if I liked the movie or not because I was indifferent like Clark was coming out of it. And the more I had some time to kind of watch it and kind of, I was getting my notes ready. I was like, you know what? This movie is actually a lot better than I thought it really was. I don't know. I got to learn not to have, big gulps and popcorn anymore at the movie theater. I guess that's what it is for me. That's on me, not against the movie there. But hey, listen, I really like the characters in this one. I think even though they don't have the name recognition of the first cast had, I feel like this was a better cast of characters for the type of movie that this is here. I think that's probably the biggest takeaway. You got the big name heavy hitters. They didn't quite deliver for me, all of them equally. And I didn't have a problem with Captain Boomerang dying. That's Suicide Squad stuff. You gotta start watching I recommend for you, Clark, watch the Batman animated movie Assault on Arkham. Assault on Arkham, great one. Honestly, I did not really care about Suicide Squad before I saw that movie, that animated movie, and my expectations were I was super excited about the one that was coming out, the one that came out in 2016. So
I'll give it a try.
It's on HBO Max. Anybody else who just heard what I said, Attack on Arkham, and that's an awesome animated movie. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, I mean, overall, look, the first one was a disappointment, and it was a lot of cooks in the kitchen on that one there. I don't think it would have been good, quite frankly. I don't care if David Ayer says there's another cut of his. I'm ready to move on from it there. James Gunn's movie, I think it was pretty good overall. I mean, it could have maybe a little bit of tighter story, a little bit shorter. I didn't, Spike has said, I didn't need to be reminded what happened 5 minutes earlier and doing all that. I think that was a little too excessive there. I think it would have been okay if WB reeled it back just a little bit and say, hey, James, we like what you're doing, but tighten it up a little bit more, and I think you got something here. But that's just one man's opinion there. But all the same, 1.5 for the first one, and I'm going to give it a 4 for the second one. So that's my opinion there. I recommend definitely, if you're not convinced on it, definitely give it a second go. I think it might help. But that's all we got for our review here on the Suicide Squad. So let's get into what happened after we all saw this movie here. And it's been big news all over. And we're going to make this a little short and sweet here. Clark has been alluding to it many times, even though I told him to don't do that. But no, not a strong suit. That's okay. I'm going to buy him new earmuffs to help him listen better. Those are the ones for...
We got a whole troupe of comedians in this show today, I see.
Fun fact, those are from back in his Xbox Halo 1 days. Those are some old headphones you got there. And one of them actually doesn't work. Fun fact, people, if you don't know at home, one of them actually doesn't work. But that being said, the movie bombed, though. Regardless of what you and I or anybody else in this panel have to say, the movie did not do well at all. I mean, even by pandemic standards, which they change regularly here. A lot of people with a lot of different opinions on why that happened have talked about it. And I found a very interesting article from comicbookmovie.com listing the 8 possible reasons why this movie didn't do well. So these are in no particular order. I want to let the panel know this because they have not heard this list yet. So I really want to open up their minds and let them kind of say what they think was the reason why this happened. But first one bulletin that came out, Idris Elba isn't Will Smith. Stating pretty much saying that he doesn't have the drawing power of a Will Smith, which is one reason why I didn't do good. James Gunn's name means nothing. So that's kind of a stop and say, hey, listen, he did Guardians of the Galaxy, but no one cares that you're James Gunn. Okay? Confusing marketing. No one knew if this was a sequel, prequel, or whatever. The whole thing. And I'll admit, I didn't understand the marketing either there. People don't care about this franchise as much as people want to believe they do. The next one we have here is the conversation of COVID and the HBO Max problem that we have here, quote unquote. The last 3 here we have here is the unnecessary R rating. I think we already mentioned that today. DCEU is damaged beyond repair. And the last one here is Harley Quinn isn't as popular as Warner Brothers wants to believe. That was the list came out. I thought it was a very interesting list that they came up with there.
Brilliant.
I think that was a solid list. I think everybody can probably pick 1 or 2 that stand out for them there. I want to go to Tank here because I saw you nodding your head. It looked like you didn't agree. Tank, fill us in your thoughts on this here. I mean, do you agree with like some things could have been done better for this movie to have a better performance at the box office, or do you think people are just not giving it a chance? Your thoughts, sir?
Well, I mean, yeah, the movie, like, yeah, the marketing, because, like, how they deal with the marketing, like, you didn't know if it was a sequel or for a reboot, which I don't think even they thought about it. I think that this, James Gunn just wanted to get, they just wanted to get a better version out. So I don't even think they really, and also, like I said, it might have been because he might have known that the DCE was pretty much crumbling. So why even really make it a sequel?
Right.
But yeah, so the marketing, but I don't think so. But then also, like, the one about Idris Elba is not as big of a draw as Will Smith. I mean, he's not, but what Will Smith's movie has really done great recently. Like, back in the day, yeah, he did really great. But Will Smith's movie, his last stronger movies, while they were really good when I saw them, they weren't doing the numbers that he used to do.
Sure.
So I don't think that's the issue. The Harley Quinn one is a stupid reason. Like, I've been to many cons. Harley Quinn is fucking popular. Like, especially after, like, that's all I saw at all cons after the Suicide Squad was chicks dressed up as Harley Quinn.
Oh, listen, every girl I knew, once that movie came out for Halloween, that's all you saw at the bar that night when you went to a Halloween party with your buddies. I get that, but that doesn't necessarily translate into absolute popularity there. Let's be honest here and impartial. I mean, keep in mind, we had 3 Harley movies so far that she's been in. Keep in mind, we love her from our times as kids and as teenagers from the animated series and stuff. She's a newer character, in fairness. She was created from the 90s animation show. So I don't think she's as mainstream as everybody wants to pretend that she is. Let's be honest. She did the first movie. Birds of Prey did not do good at the box office. Let's not forget that. And that was her leading role for her. And now this movie here. So, I mean, I think it's a fair argument to say that, on behalf of the DC fans, sure. But she's not on the level, and somebody you can appreciate, she's not on the level of, say, like a Deadpool, for example.
Oh, no,
that off-the-walls kind of character that breaks the fourth wall. They're kind of the same for one for Marvel, one for DC. I don't think she has it as much as Warner Bros. So I kind of agree with that one, to be honest with you. Spike, your thoughts? Do you have anything on this list here, or anything else you think might have been a reason why this movie didn't perform as well?
It's actually a really good list, to your point. I'm stuck more so on 2 of them, really 3. 1, people don't care, and I think that the reason is, like you said, they're not known characters, and these all kind of run together for me. Superhero lore has been overshadowing everything since the MCU. So everything, no matter how different you make it, in my opinion, is going up against the MCU for the masses that are not generally comic book fans. The DCU EU is damaged. It has a horrible reputation. And then on top of that, although Harley's a lot of fun, and I think Margot does an amazing job with her, she can't carry a movie. And so she's not having enough people, enough co-stars to balance that out, enough to fill the seats.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the big thing that you're running with is, yeah, she's fun and you got a few little quirks, and if you're not too busy, you'll check it out. But outside of comic book fans or superhero lore or whatever you want to call it, the average person could care less. And that's not it. Whereas in word of mouth with the MCU and those other franchises and movie stories, even if you weren't into them, you were hearing that they were good movies. The trailers were good. It looked like it would be something you might enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, I saw old people. I literally was in a theater with older women. They weren't with us. That looked like they were in their late 60s going to see Infinity War. And I was like, what in the world? And they were there. They had no idea who the characters were,
Yeah.
Same thing with Black Panther. So I just think that played a major role. That's a great list. A lot of good points. And I agree with those. Those main ones stuck out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Great points there, Spike. There's something to be said about building some goodwill with your audience. Mm-hmm. Portraying your audience trust could jeopardize and possibly ruin any potential for a franchise to get off the ground. Mm-hmm. And let's be honest, I think with this one here, despite the fact that I feel like this is a superior movie out of the 2 versions here, I think the damage of the first one is too far to go back because I think people still have a kind of a bad taste in their mouth about that there. You know, and DC in general as a whole has not done a whole lot to really give the public any kind of confidence that that's going to change in any kind of way there. So this might be one that is going to be loved by the fans, but the general audience just doesn't want to pay to take the plunge on that there. You know, they'll wait for it to be on basic TV or something like that. Maybe we'll see. Or maybe it becomes a big hit on stream. We'll see. It's too soon to tell.
They stumble across it, maybe.
Yeah, there you go. Clark, you look like a kid in a candy store when I was reading off this chart here. So I figured I'd save the best for last, I guess. So tell us here, Clark. I mean, I think there was a lot of things you've actually already mentioned yourself here, so it just seemed to kind of go with what you were saying. But anything you want to add on to, you think that kind of stands out?
Actually, if I may, I would like to yield to the distinguished gentleman rubbing his eyes. Mr. Tank had something I know he was trying to say before you moved on to Spike as it pertains to some of the things that were on there. Did you want to say anything else on it? Because I thought you were going to mention something on your thoughts, but
if you did, I apologize.
That's good. Only other thing I was going to say is the biggest one is COVID and HBO Max. Like I think I'm the only one on the crew here that has gone to movies multiple times. And the first two movies I went to, they were doing this thing where whenever you bought your seat, they blocked off the two next to you. By the time I saw like Fast 9, they stopped doing that. And also now, before all the other movies that were, even movies that were like releasing at the same time on HBO Max that did better than Suicide Squad, that was before this new Delta variant came out that, or at least before it was more media sized.
Yeah,
and
that's a good point.
To where it scared people. So where people were probably feeling more, we're feeling like we were back, feeling like that we were back and free. They went to the movies more before that. And now this comes out and they're like, well, wait a minute. Let me not go to the movies. So I honestly think that was the biggest thing as to why the box office did not do as good as box office as movies prior to it that even released. Kind of remember Clark mentioned Quiet Place 2 that came. In other movies that think about movies that that premiere both on HBO Max and in theaters. This Delta variant just has people scared to go back to the movies in the way they weren't before.
Yeah, that's a good point there, Tank. And again, I apologize for not seeing that you still had some more left in the tank. No pun intended. Yeah, that'd be sad. I mean, I agree with everybody here. I think this is a well put together list where all of this stuff is very all possible here. I think HBO Max, as much as it's a great thing for the consumers, it's definitely killing the box office as well too. And then on top of that too, there's no urgency to go see it as well. That's the key thing. We've become so involved. I mean, so just enamored by this. We can have it anytime, anywhere because we don't have to go out and get it anymore. There's not any of that urgency to go out and see it there. It's not like, hey, I'm going to see Joe at the office on Monday. If I don't watch this movie, boy, when I get to the water cooler, that whole movie's going to be spoiled for me. Or, my buddy that's on Facebook, he's such a big mouth. I know he's going to spoil the ending of this like he did Game of Thrones. I don't know, right? There's none of that going on there too. So when it comes to this particular movie, it had a lot working against it. Some of it was kind of their own doing. I think if they were a little bit clearer with the audience who wants to see a DC movie, to let them know what they were going to watch. And for the audience that, doesn't know or maybe took a shot on the first one and didn't, prefer that one, maybe it would have been smart to maybe possibly correct the marketing on that one, then let them know, hey, this is not your last Suicide Squad, And at the same time too, I mean, I think, again, I feel like the R rating was a big deal. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
I feel if you even took that out of the equation, because you can get away with the blood and guts and all that stuff, still in a good solid PG-13, a hard PG-13, you could still get that. But then as a business move, you could have so much of your audience expanded as well too, And part of the marketing was like how gory this thing was going to be. Like, yeah, but you got a parent out there watching that. They're like, yeah, you're not going to watch that one, Timmy. Sorry, that's not going to be on the table for you. So I mean, you had a movie that was kind of a damaged product to begin with, and you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot by pushing the envelope maybe even too far. And I'm not the one to ever complain about that, but I feel for this franchise, it would have been a necessary thing to get as many eyes on this because it was always going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah.
It was always going to be an uphill battle with this one.
I agree. I think too, Tank, your point is definitely, valid as far as it pertains to the Delta variant, but it really is just a piece of the pie of issues that led to the failure financially of this movie. Yes, critically acclaimed, audiences actually were divided in the outgoing scores, but it is a complete disaster, $100 million loser it's looking to be. And the reason for that is one, the budget was way too high, $175 million. Two, you let James Gunn run amok and have this R rating, which isolates people that are under the age of 17 from going to the theaters and actually paying for a ticket on their own without their parents, right? So you're alienating your target audience of males, right? And then on top of that, one of the big reasons I think this movie failed is that it had the baggage of the previous movie. It was not well received. While the movie made almost $800 million at the box office and made a profit of close to $150 million, it still left a very bad taste in the mouth of folks. And the thing about the marketing, what Danny mentioned, you cannot escape that. The marketing was brilliant. You had a Batman scene that was used so effectively that was, oh shit, Batman's in this movie? Hell yeah, I'm going to see that. I'm going to see this, the Joker and Batman, and he's on top of the roof of the car? Oh, hell yeah, which turned out to be literally not even 2 minutes long. But when you do that effectively, you get people in the seats. And the one thing I will say, and then I'll get off my soapbox, is that Will Smith's career, as well as his most recent box office, he propelled the disaster of the Aladdin movie to almost $1 billion at the box office. That was because of Will Smith. That I will tell you. Yes, brand name is there, but Will Smith propelled that movie to it. And I would challenge you, Tank, to come up with a movie in the last 5 years that was an outright financial failure or disappointment, because all of his movies most recently have done extremely well. He is top echelon actor, and he gets people in the seats.
Gemini Man.
Boom.
Gemini Man. Okay, let me just say, hold on 1 second there, sir. Hold on. We're talking about a movie that came out in the mid-2000s, sir. Okay? This Gemini Man came out in the mid-2000s.
No, it didn't. What are you talking about, you old
When did Gemini Man come out? Please, someone go into the files. Go into the fandom files here.
It's got to be within like the last 2018, 2019?
2019.
Gemini. Okay, well, fine.
We're still able to go to the movies.
Fine.
They didn't know
Gemini Man. Okay, very good, sir. Okay, very good.
You know what's worse about that one, Clark? I mean, that had 2 Will Smiths. And it could.
But I will say though,
old and young.
Let me just say though, everybody's points here were really good, especially
Fresh Prince.
All right. Idris Elba, I think he's an amazing actor. I think that he is a great supporting actor in a lot of the films that he was supporting actor in. Like, he pretty much upstays the leading men. He's been in leading roles recently as a villain and everything else. I thought he did brilliant in Prometheus. I thought he was freaking phenomenal. Or excuse me, was it Prometheus or?
Prometheus, but he wasn't that much in Prometheus.
It was the second one, right? Or was the first one? It was Prometheus, right?
Yeah,
Idris Elba. I mean, before he really blew up. But my point on Idris Elba is that he has not proven to be a bankable actor, in the sense that Will Smith. Hold on. When compared to Will Smith, that's what I'm trying to say. Will Smith brings people in. Idris Elba, yes, can bring an audience in, but for $175 million and have you be the leading man, you're not going to bring in the butts that Will Smith had. He's an upper echelon of actors. I'm sorry. He's up there with Denzel Washington as far as people coming into the theaters to see him.
And Clark, I think you kind of hit it right in the head here, if I can just say real quick. This all ties into a big bow where he was not the biggest name. Margot Robbie was not the biggest name. The biggest name was James Gunn himself. James Gunn himself was to be the big one. Like, hey, this is a top flight director.
Right.
You
Guardians
know
of
from
the
his
Galaxy.
your
Right.
favorite movies such as Guardians of the Galaxy, so he knows how to do a team ensemble, and he's gonna do this no gloves on and all. That was probably the biggest key of marketing there, and I think that was an over assumption that people cared. So I think
I agree.
we just kind of talked it out amongst each other here. I think the biggest reason why Suicide Squad 2 did not do as well is because
They laid their hat on
James
James Gunn's
Gunn
name. Yeah.
names
leading
means
person.
nothing.
I
Absolutely.
don't think that was a good idea in general. I mean, obviously the numbers speak for themselves, but if you think about it from that perspective, think about for the fans who aren't familiar with Suicide Squad or anything like that, but loved Guardians because Guardians appealed to everybody, right?
Couldn't see it because it's rated R. Boom.
Well, I mean, and not just that, but think about it. So if you have a family or even just older, where you're old enough to get in, and you enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy, this movie's nothing like that.
Exactly.
If you keep referencing those movies,
Yes.
you're not gonna like this movie.
Yeah, you're isolating your target audience, and you know, and here's the thing: if we were talking about a standalone movie that was directly like, okay, you have the tone of the first Suicide Squad, and now you have this tone. It's like very contrast differently, and I think that's where you may have people that really enjoyed it, like Tank really, really, really enjoyed it.
I did too.
And I
Fair.
respect.
I did too.
And listen, I know all you guys to an extent enjoyed it. The problem I have, and maybe this is my fault, is watching it again. Because after I did, I started to realize I didn't like it as much as I did. And listen, in fairness, and I see the snickering there and everything, get your pitchforks ready. All right, listen to me carefully. Danny can attest to this. And you know Danny will not actually defend me in any way,
Never.
shape, or form. Danny, did I not say, I actually thought it was, when you were like, I didn't like it, you know, at first. I don't know. And I was like, it was actually it wasn't that bad. I was giving it a chance.
He did.
Danny said, watch it again, Oldie. Maybe we'll see how it, he ended up liking it. I ended up not liking it because I watched it again.
Hey, let me ask you this real quick. Danny, I don't know if you finished it the second time, Clark. Watching it in the theater and watching it at home, even though you had theater fatigue, did you get a better experience being in the theater? Not take out the comfort of being at home. Like,
no, I enjoyed the theater.
Did the movie come across much better in the theater than it does at home?
Well, you know, for me at least, and I can't speak for Danny, there's two things. One, I enjoyed going out, talking to Danny and hanging out with him and watching it, being, you know, the whole being in the theater with people. I think that's what did it, because people were like, oh yeah, you know, getting excited or whatever. So that kind of gets you hyped up, right? Even if the movie's not that good, you're like hyped up, and then you realize, well,
It's
when
the
you're watching it
experience.
alone, which I was doing, in the comfort of my own home, while the picture was way better, and I think Danny mentioned that too, the picture was way better because I have my own, you know, set up 4K or whatever, I did not enjoy it as much. Again, it just felt like one set piece after another. Like, right, like, you know, he kills the bird, right? But then the bird comes to eat his corpse, you know, when the character portrayed by the Yondu actor, you know, Michael Rooker. It just felt like every piece that went through there was just a set piece of different things, either people dying or people shooting or people dying or people shooting or people dying or people shooting. That's it. And that for me doesn't make a movie. Tank had a very good point when he said that the characters, you actually felt for them in the first one. And you actually did. In fact, I even felt for El Diablo when he died in the sacrifice. He had the best
story arc, to be honest.
Right.
In that movie.
So to be honest with you, I have to go back and maybe revisit the first one,
Clark,
other than the fact that
I don't mean to cut you off, but you brought up a question I have for you, sir. What was Captain Boomerang's story arc in the first one?
Oh, shoot, man. I can't even remember.
Why the hell did you care when he died in the second one? That's my point.
Well, let me explain why. Listen to me carefully. I didn't say it was his story arc that I enjoyed. You know what I enjoyed about him? I enjoyed his banter. I enjoyed the way the character was. He was funny. He was like a comic relief. I enjoyed that about him, and I loved his accent, his natural accent. Hey there, you fucking what are you doing there? Eh? What? What now? Eh? What you say, Tank?
That guy Jake
hey,
Gordon,
what you saying, eh? Hey, mate.
He has never been good in a single movie I've ever seen him in. I'm gonna be real.
Well, can I be honest with you? He sucked in Die Hard as Die Hard's dad, Die Hard's son.
He sucked in Terminator.
Yes, he sucked in Terminator 2. He did that. I will say that. Yes, I agree with you.
He's overrated.
He is overrated, but I will say that Captain Boomerang was good.
All right, well, right on. Well, I think this is probably be a good place to wrap this up, boys. We're going a little bit long here. Let's trim this one up and put a bow in here. We gave our reviews, we gave our opinions, we figured out, or possibly figured out why the movie that was not as successful there. But all that being said, guys, that's going to conclude our episode for tonight on the main event for Suicide Squad. For those of you who stayed along with us in the chat here, we appreciate you again. And also for anybody who's going to catch it on the replay, please, if you haven't already done so, please like, share, and subscribe here at the House of Fandom. Clark, you want to take us home?
Yep, absolutely. Shout out to Cliff Bravo. I saw you from the beginning up until the end. I wanted to give you that shout out. We appreciate it. A lot of great banter in the chat room from all the participants. Danny, thank you for moderating today's show. Tank, once again, great topics for fandom news. Spike, as always, a pleasure going back and forth and bantering with you. I definitely appreciate all your opinions. While I may not agree with them completely, I definitely appreciate them, and that's why we're the House of Fandom, right? Yes, it's not about the House of agreeing with everything. You know what I mean? So let me just say, great show, everybody. If you haven't already heard, the beginning theme song is by Steel Frame. That's Joel, who does an amazing job with really his music and the different beats is amazing. So, Tank, where can they find Joel and Steel Frame's beats?
You actually said his name right that time. Look at that.
Look
you
at
find
that.
him at SoundCloud at Steel Frame Music.
I have a cue card for that, believe it or not.
Little post note himself.
I did. You know what? Hey, can I just say something? I want to just point something out here. I'm gonna move to the frame here. I specifically put music by Steel Frame at the bottom of our main thing because our main poster advertisement. I feel like I always forget his name, and I just wanted to make sure people did know his name, and I just wanted to make sure that they knew that we appreciate his his beats. Yes, without a doubt. If you haven't already, go to the House of Fandom. It's House of Fandom 1 in our new TikTok profile, or TikTok, whatever they call it. What do the kids call it now, Tank?
TikTok. Why do you say kids? I'm not
TikTok.
the youngest.
TikTok.
You make it sound like they changed their name all of a sudden. Come on, man.
So TikTok, really good content will be on there, supplemental content. Great show today, boys. If you guys haven't already, check us out on the replays. We've got an amazing show that people are just finding. It was a show that Danny brought to us to do a review, and I think Tank and Spike. But Heat, that episode, dude, you got to go back and check out that episode. That episode was amazing. It was a great episode. We talked some serious dissecting of that movie Heat. If you haven't already, take a look at Heat. It was amazing. And, of course, Tank and I had a ball going back in time for the 40th anniversary of Superman 2. That was a fun show, wasn't it, Tank?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was.
And then the boys are back from Townie Sports. They came out with a bang on Monday. They have a fantasy football league that they are creating, and actually, it's going to be the House of Fandom boys against the Townie boys for the fantasy football. So we'll talk more about it, but it's a league that'll have 10 viewers, as well as the House of Fandom people host and the Townie Sports host. So we'll talk more about that, but you'll hear more about that on Monday on the new day and time of Townie Sports, starting at 7 p.m., leading right up until Monday Night Football kickoff at 8:20 p.m. So thank you, everyone. Great show. This is your host, Clark, on the check-in. Have a great night wherever you are.